This is your Uncle TreeJam, and we are back with Mass Effect 2. We didn't do a whole lot last time. We just went ahead and did a little bit of planet mining and such.
No messages for you, Commander.
So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the galaxy map, and well, before I do that, let's go check our upgrades and see if there's anything we need to get. I do want to make sure that we have everything we need for this particular segment. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Omega and look around the station a little bit, see what we can find. And we've got some side questing that we can do. But next up after that, we'll be doing Okir's dossier mission. So let's go ahead and open up the galaxy map. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is park right at Omega, and is it a recruiting archangel? We're going to go ahead and just look around the station real quick. Just going to go ahead and skip that for the sake of expediency. I do want to go ahead and jump back into things. After a very expensive time spent with house repairs and such, I think it's time to play a little bit of catch up. We're going to bring along Morden, and we are bringing along Zaid. For no particular reason. However, I do think that before I do the next loyalty mission, I may want to get Morden his Omni tool upgrade. That way he will really shine when it comes to tech abilities. And that'll be it for the time being. We could go ahead and give... Let's take a look here. Yeah, that's going to be very useful. Purchase that. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it at this for the time being. Well, with the exception of doing this. That way we can get that bonus where we can actually cause weapon overheat, and that'll be very useful. And we'll go ahead and save any upgrades for later.
Judging by the quarantine reports, the plague has been completely eradicated, Shepard. I have also accessed messages between mercenary groups regarding plans to deal with the Archangel. There's a recruiting station at Afterlife that may have information on him.
So some things have changed around the station, very minor changes. We are still in the early game, so there's not a whole lot that we're going to be able to see just yet. But for right now, let's go ahead and talk to Gavorn here. We have done Morden's recruitment missions, so he's got some new tidbits to say about the Vorcha.
So, I heard a human went into the plague zone. Then I found out about a lot of dead Vorcha down there. You know anything about this?
I saved you a lot of trouble. You should be grateful.
Grateful? Huh. Now I get to deal with the slavers complaining about the reduction in their crops. But that I can handle.
What's your job here exactly?
I'm supposed to keep the Vorcha in line. Keep them out of Aria's sight. That's about it. Not much for me to do anymore. But the way those Vorcha breed, I'll have something to do soon enough.
There's an awful lot of Vorcha here. What are they planning?
Vorcha? Plan? They're a pestilence, nothing more. If they started planning, we'd all be in big trouble.
I'll just be going.
Keep up the good work.
And there we go. Now, we are not doing too good when it comes to cash. We're basically broke. So, not a whole lot we can do in terms of purchases. And I'm going to go ahead and keep that cash I have in my inventory because we are going to need cash to pay for fuel and to pay for probes, which will all come in handy for exploring and doing some Uncharted Worlds quests, which in this game they're called N7 assignments.
Imagine this. End the Nexus. The end is nigh.
Not the most exciting assignments. I think I prefer the assignments, the actual Uncharted assignments of Mass Effect 1. Much better. Much better experience in terms of the writing. It's almost like they did a flip in this game. Mass Effect 2 had some unique environments, but shallow writing when it came to their N7 assignments. And Mass Effect 1 had some very repetitive level design assets, but at times they had some fairly sophisticated writing, or fairly decent writing. So unfortunately, it's an area that I did miss out on. But let's go ahead and move on. I think what we're gonna do, I'm trying to find an area where we can talk to Morden. I think it's actually down. We have to go down this way, I believe. Let's go ahead and move past the Vorcha here. Move past the burning trash heap, and we can go down here. And this should be the area we switch out to Morden. Here we go. Yeah, I figured this was the area.
Vorcha adaptation interesting. Not just biological, social as well. Urban area adapting to them in return. Large concentration. Hope they're controlled. If they attack, as happened near my clinic, casualties likely.
A little quick tidbit with Morden. Let's go ahead and move up. Now, last time we actually made a choice regarding a certain Batarian bartender. Didn't work out too well for the bartender, of course. But now we have a new bartender, a Solarian.
Welcome to Afterlife. How may I serve you?
Pour me a drink. Hold the poison.
Oh yes, I heard about my predecessor's little scheme. I'm very glad you survived. I've been instructed to give you drinks on the house. Rest assured that they will contain no illicit ingredients you haven't asked for.
Just gonna keep an eye on my credits real quick.
Welcome to Afterlife. How may I serve you?
I'll just have something to drink.
Of course.
We did say drinks are free, but I'm gonna go ahead and verify this. Yep. Got the same amount I came in with, so.
I got a mate and a ship. I only brought one of them with me to
So I think I've been holding this back for a while, but
this ship tastes the poison.
I don't know how I feel about that assignment back then, or rather this little mini assignment we did over here regarding the Batarian bartender. We actually brought Jacob and I brought along Miranda to see their comments regarding what happened during Mass Effect Galaxy. But the Batarian bartender there has been dealt with. Now, as for the way that we've dealt with it, I don't know how I feel about that. The charm option is essentially to incite a public crowd lynching, and the renegade option is to force someone to commit suicide. So neither option is particularly commendable in my mind. I mean, do you want lynching, or do you want to, make someone drink poison, make them commit suicide? Which one is really the better option here? And I don't know. The funny thing is that I feel the better option would have been to tell Aria. And as strange as that sounds, I think Aria would actually take action, because for one case, for one, this is where Aria's headquartered. And if Aria's a criminal warlord that she is, she's probably taking a business cut out of every business on Omega, at least the ones around Afterlife. And this Batarian bartender who's poisoning customers, especially humans, who happens to harbor strong anti-Citadel race tendencies, sentiments, you probably wouldn't want him driving away business at a bar down here. You probably want to deal with him. So I think Aria would actually eventually deal with the bartender. So as strange as that sounds as a suggestion, I feel that that's probably the more paragon option. You could probably do something there and just have it where you find out that Aria had the bartender killed, and then you can go back and question her about the bartender dying like that. Like whether or not an execution like that was necessary. But that didn't happen, and that's what we get. And I don't know, I'm not too happy with or rather, I think it's a little bit strong. I'm just a bit dissatisfied with how it turned out. That neither option necessarily feels like a charm or intimidate option, according to the respective morality trees. But we actually have a job here from Aria. It turns out she's been keeping tabs on our progress and thinks that someone of our metal might be able to help out with a few of her problems, namely one patriarch.
Aria has work for you, if you're interested. Aria has a job she needs doing. You up for some work?
That depends on what Aria has in mind.
Aria's gotten word that some blood-packed mercs plan to kill an old acquaintance of hers, a Krogan named Patriarch. She'd like you to keep that from happening.
What's the Blood Pack's problem with Patriarch?
If you've met Patriarch, you know. He can't keep his damn mouth shut. Some people don't appreciate his stories, especially when he dips into non-fiction.
Why come to me? Aria's usual muscle not up for the job?
Because Aria said so. What other reason do you need?
People like Aria don't do things without a damn good reason. I want to hear it.
Fine, but I didn't tell you this. Got me? If it gets out that Aria's protecting Patriarch, well, that can look like a weakness. And some people might want to exploit that. You're not on her payroll, so you helping Patriarch just seems like a random act of kindness.
What's Aria's interest in protecting him?
Patriarch was one of her deadliest enemies back in the old days. Now she keeps what's left of him around as a trophy. As long as he lives, he's a perfect example of what happens when you go up against Aria.
I'll look into it.
Good. Patriarch's downstairs, likely surrounded by his fans. Get him into hiding until the mercs move on. Come back here when it's done, and you'll get your due.
I'll be back when the job's done.
Good luck.
So now we have to go find the Patriarch, and if you don't remember him, he is the Krogan down here, right in Lower Afterlife. He's the one telling stories, so it shouldn't be too hard to find him. But before we do that, I'm actually going to go ahead and talk to Aria real quick. You know what, we can actually save it for later. Screw it. Yeah, screw it. Let's move on. What I'll do is I'll deal with Patriarch, and then we'll go ahead and move on with the rest of the game. So in order to find Patriarch, we go to Lower Afterlife, go to the left, and take this little side entrance here. And we will have Patriarch right here.
Don't act like it. You again. Greetings.
Rumor has it some people want you dead. Know anything about that?
Oh, I can think of a few. I know things. Old secrets, old grudges. Few floors you can dig up to find bodies underneath. Someone who wanted to weaken Aria might come after me. They do it to get to her, you see, not for me. I don't matter enough anymore to have enemies of my own.
Some people want you dead. I've been asked to move you to safety.
Well, of course. Aria wouldn't want me hurt. It would make her look bad. But perhaps Aria's reputation is no longer my concern. Perhaps I will stay. See who thinks me important enough to kill.
Here's an idea. Let me handle the assassins for you.
And so your name grows, while I remain an old man who lets others fight his battle.
No. You remain a powerful warlord with forces at his command, not just Aria's trophy.
Well, you could be my Trent, fighting for my honor. If you would do this for me, I would be grateful. I might even be a Krogan again. Or have you changed your mind? Shall I slink back to the safety of Aria's protection?
Let me go back to that dialogue again.
I should be going.
You return. I've heard nothing of the assassins. Do you have news? Or have you changed your mind? Shall I slink back to the safety of Aria's protection?
I should be going.
I've actually never talked to Patriarch after that. I tend to just leave the room and deal with the assassins. But in order to deal with the assassins, we need to go down here. And they're basically just right at the door.
Out of our way, human.
And we're gonna make it pretty clear that Patriarch sent us. Just send a message.
You here for Patriarch?
What if we are? You gonna do something about it?
Patriarch sent us. Said to do whatever it takes.
Your Patriarch's Grant? I wasn't aware the old man had one.
You should have done your homework.
For the record, I think you need to do more than just duck to avoid a flamethrower, but... well... we handled it, so I guess nothing else to say. Remember, kids, if you want to avoid a flamethrower, all you have to do is duck. You will never get burnt by any sort of side flames whatsoever, let alone the air around a flame jet that heats up.
When I took you, killed them all. And everyone knows that the Patriarch is not to be crossed. Thanks to you, Aria may think of me as more than a trophy. A real advisor, maybe. Or even a threat.
Use this. Don't ever let anyone think you're weak again.
Thanks to you, I am a Krogan. By the way, be careful with Aria. She will approve of what you've done, I think. But not of you altering the balance of Omega. I think it reminds her too much of herself.
And it looks like Patriarch is gonna walk away with the guise of being a very powerful warlord. So Aria gets to go ahead and watch that reputation of her basically protecting the Patriarch away. Kind of serves as smoke and mirrors. And so Aria can get what she wants done, and Patriarch can keep looking like a, you know, like an independent actor on the station. Make sure that few people can't take advantage of Patriarch and, by extension, Aria, since Patriarch is basically an advisor to her.
Aria wants to speak with you, human. She heard you took on the Blood Pack assassins yourself. I wouldn't keep her waiting.
Alright. I think Anto has nothing to say, so...
You want to talk? Talk to Aria.
alright. Let me go ahead and make a save real quick, just in case. And let's go talk to the woman herself.
Word has it that Patriarch's Krant took out the men sent here to kill him. Funny, I didn't know he had a Krant.
I guess you're working on old information.
Well, no one would dare cross him with such a powerful Krant standing up for him. It's not what I asked, but you got the job done. Do you need something else?
I'm trying to track down Archangel.
You might have luck going in with the mercs. They're using a private room for recruiting. Just over there. I'm sure they'll sign you up.
Now we can ask a little bit about Aria's backstory, but I'm gonna just go ahead and save that for after this little bit that I'm about to do.
Which merc groups are after Archangel?
Blue Suns, Eclipse, Blood Pack. They're Omega's major players. Unless they're at war, you'll never see them together. But one thing they hate more than each other is Archangel.
Do you hate Archangel?
I don't have time for hate, but I distrust them all equally. For now, I'm happy just to let them kill each other.
What can you tell me about Archangel?
Not as much as I'd like. He showed up here several months ago and started causing all sorts of problems. If you make your own laws, which everyone here does, he makes life difficult. He's reckless and idealistic, but he seems to know enough to stay clear of me.
I appreciate the help.
See if you still feel that way when the mercs realize you're here to help him.
Sounds like I don't have much time to waste.
You've got all the time in the world. Archangel? Not so much.
Now, contrary to any kind of illusion of urgency that you might get from this conversation, you can take as long as you want to recruit Archangel, so yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk to Aria and find out more about her past. We did do a favor for her, at least.
What do you need?
We friendly enough to talk about who you were before Omega?
You're reaching back centuries, Shepard. Long before anything that should matter to you.
So why keep it secret?
No reason, from your perspective. But there are plenty of people out there with long memories. I've had a few careers, a few names. Commando training, mercenary leanings. I've kept what was valuable and dropped the baggage.
You couldn't have started here with nothing. You must have been someone important.
I've always been important, even if others didn't recognize it. So yes, I had money to start this operation. I also had creditors who thought they were more entitled to it. I let them chase a ghost, or several. It's relatively easy to outlive a Solarian, but not their record-keeping.
You're important, but also isolated. No other allies out there to back you up?
I lean toward a particular type of work. It tends to encourage professional rivalry. Sometimes you'd rather disappear than be forced to kill someone.
I thought you were in charge. Why so scared of your past?
I have nothing to fear on Omega. That doesn't mean I want to broadcast my past to the galaxy. You'd be surprised how long some entities can hold a grudge. This little exercise with Patriarch? A footnote. Not even the first Krogan I've pissed off.
All right, I'll drop it.
Better luck next time.
So I headed back to the diplomat to give him the good news and collect my pay. But before I got halfway there, Alina sent me a message. Better luck next time.
Now, there's a conversation that we had with Rex back in Mass Effect 1 about his dealings with a certain mercenary by the name of Alina. I'm gonna need to come back to that because I've gotten some conflicting information about it. There's actually a statement by one of the Bioware devs, or at least one of the Bioware team regarding it. But, like I said, I'll come back to it maybe next episode. But for the time being, it's time for us to make our exit.
Maybe I'll come back later.
Maybe I'll be here.
Because at one point it seems that one of the devs said that Alina and Aria are not in fact the same person. So, I'm going to need to do a little bit of research on that and before I can make a solid judgment on that matter. Let's go ahead and head out. And I think that we're done with most of what I wanted to do on Omega. I'm going to have to come back for some stuff later. We still have to help out Harriet. Or, not Harriet,
Once the area is declared safe for visitors,
let me go and find you real quick.
Hackett will preside.
Work life got you down. Ready to give it all up and go into hiding in the abyss? Don't.
Kent!
End is not.
Ken, that's his name, yeah. Ken over at Ken Salvage. We have to deal with Ken and help him out with his woes.
Travel the galaxy
And I'm not going to go ahead and do that just because, you know, not now, but later. Because I happen to be a good soul. Such a bleeding heart that I am. As much as I might like to get Renegade here and there.
Freedom's progress has generated a swift but confused response.
But let's go ahead and move this way, and we are going to go ahead and board the Normandy. We are done Omega for the time being, so I think next up we have the Warlord Okir's dossier. We can go ahead and attempt to recruit him, but for those of you who've played Mass Effect 2, you know who we're actually going to recruit. And I'll leave it there. Now, the reason I am going to go to Warlord Okir's dossier instead of doing Archangel's dossier first is because, well, we get a certain quick scene. Little quick scene if you have a certain squad mate with you. Hang on a second. Got my mouse trailing outside my window there.
No messages for you, Commander.
But I think I'm going to go ahead and call it here. It's actually going to be a little bit shorter of an episode. It'll keep it nice and under 30 minutes, make it easier for me to edit. Make sure my computer doesn't crap itself whenever I turn through the video editing program. But that should be it, folks. Alright, this is GreatTreeJam. I want to wish you guys a happy day, night, evening, afternoon, wherever you might be in this universe or the next. Next time we pick up, we're going to go ahead and try and find the Warlord Okir and see what we can do to grease the gears, get him to help us with our collector problem. But until then, folks, stay safe, have a good one, and I'll see you around.